They were forced to solve their supply problems by purchasing 400,000 French Zouave uniforms. Oh, they supplied to the Americans as well. On arrival, it was discovered that every jacket had to have a panel added to the back. This was because the average French infantryman was much smaller than the average Union soldier. It's all those frog's legs. The uniform with its distinctive cap was worn throughout the rest of the Civil War, and today a version is used by display teams on national and ceremonial occasions throughout America. Traditionally, veterans of all conflicts wear the cap as a badge of honour. And our next one. Indians, North American Indians, fought on both sides of the Civil War. This is a portrayal of a Confederate Indian, as there were a mixture of Indian and... she's wearing a mixture of Indian and military clothing. Actual Indian regiments fought for the South. General Stan Watty's Indian Regiment was the last Southern regiment to surrender. Okay. Okay, you expect normally to see Southern uniforms to be grey. As you can see, these are light brown, or butternut. Butternut being a squash, for those who don't know what a butternut is. It's a squash. The butternut uniform, as worn by the soldiers, came into existence because of the blockade on southern ports. This meant a shortage of dyes and other supplies, Various nuts were used to make different shades of brown, which is known as butternut. One soldier is wearing a complete butternut uniform on the left there. With a shell jacket, and the other is wearing the butternut sack coat, which is a slightly longer coat. Of course, as I've described there, the uniforms were made presumably in a white material and then dyed using various nuts and that to stain. And butternut could be anything from a sort of pale sand through to an almost chocolatey black colour, depending how well what nuts were used and how the dye took to the material that was used at the time. So there you go. Thank you very much. Right, we see one of Britain's finest in Canada, a bit of America that the Americans didn't keep. The Mounties, wearing the royal crowns on his collar there. This is just after the American Civil War. This is about 1866, 1867, something like that. Wears riding boots. Again, this was the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, so they went out, patrolled the area of Canada along the border. Because Canada being such a large and inhospitable place in winter, and that they, apart from this uniform, they would have worn furs, had dog sled teams as well, and still to this day there is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So there you go, thank you very much. Next one out is a cowboy of the classic sort of 1870s to the turn of the century. He's carrying, he's wearing on his legs the batwing or shotgun? Batwing chaps, so called because, if you like to turn to one side so people can see, they stick out like bat's wings. Shotgun chaps was tubular type chaps. They But these were the preferred ones of a lot of the large Texas cowboys and that kind of stuff. He wears a hat to protect himself from the rays of the sun, a neckerchief to tie around his nose and mouth when pushing cattle. Following a large herd of cattle, he would have kicked up a hell of a lot of dust, and so he's got a neckerchief to tie across his nose and mouth, not to rob banks with, although they were useful for that as well. He's carrying his saddlebags over his shoulder. These were, of course, tied behind the saddle. That kept everything from his sandwiches to, if it was that's the one, yeah. Carrying a Winchester for shooting anything from mountain lion to cattle rustlers. And in his holster he's got a 6-gun, 6 shots. The first cartridge weapons by Samuel Colt come out in 1872, I believe, when the metallic cartridge was perfected. So before 1872, during the time of the American Civil War, which you see further over there was no metallic cartridges. So all these John Wayne films you see with John Wayne whacking away with the Winchester is rubbish. Also, Civil War holsters, of course, didn't have fully looped Beltridge cartridges, unlike Clint Eastwood. So there you can see, if he lifts his coat at the back, you can see he's wearing a cartridge revolver, so he's got a row of cartridges. There you go. And the coat, by the way, is a duster coat, in an attempt, not always worn by cattlemen on the trail, sometimes worn by townsfolk and things like that when they was trying to protect their good suit of clothes from dust. But cowboys did wear them, and they just added a bit of extra protection while on the trail. Thank you very much.